But let's talk a little bit about the proposal, because I did see that on social media, and it was a beautiful gesture. How did you get so many people involved in this proposal, Ariel? Because there was like 100 people behind with signs and all that stuff.
Where do I start? So I did it the traditional way, first and foremost. I called her mom,
right,
and she lives in Yonkers. I at that point I lived in Queens, so I worked until like 8 o'clock, 8:30 at night, and I'm like, hey, real quick, I need to. So I called her like 5 o'clock. Hey, I need to talk to you. I knew that she was at a holiday party for her job, so I knew that the coast was clear. Right, so I need to talk to you, and she was like, oh, okay, what is this about? I'm like, don't worry about it. Don't worry, I'll see you. So she was all nervous, but she, like a stand-up mom that she is, she cooked. She had like a big old steak.
Wait, she doesn't know?
She had no idea.
But she's preparing the steak.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask her mom for permission to marry her daughter. So I get there. She's like, hi, and you could tell she's already a little uneasy. And I ask her, and she's like, yeah, she was super happy. She was in tears, like stuff that you see on TV, like literally, like I just wanted to make sure I did it right. Yeah. And she was super happy. So at that point, once that was a green light, and mind you, we met in 2017. Yeah. December 2017, and we got engaged a year later. Mm-hmm. A year later, like I can say, hey, I knew her for 13 years, but not really 12 years at that point, but not really. But we clicked really, really fast. That's the way to do, yeah. Especially since we both knew what we wanted. We were both in a relationship with ourselves before we were in a relationship with each other first. You know what I'm saying? Like we knew what we wanted.
100%.
So after that point, she has a very close friends group. So I let one of them know, or two of them know, this is what I plan on doing. I had, my idea was to have, post boards, like, and write out, instead of me saying a speech where I might fumble a word or two and regret that for the rest of my life, I wrote all the statements out, some clever stuff. So it was probably like 10 to 15.
Round of applause to you for the idea.
Thank you.
That's a great idea right there. The postcard, just in case I mess up, you're reading exactly.
You're reading it, right? Yeah. And mind you, like, so I wrote everything out, and I hand delivered them to one of her best friends the night before. Yeah. So that way I don't, I planned a date with all of her friends without her knowing, like as if she invited me to the proposal date. Like I told them, hey, come up with an idea going ice skating in Rockefeller Center. And then she asked me like hours later, and I'm like, I had to put my greatest acting face. I'm like, damn, during the holidays it's a little tough, but you know what? Let's do it. So I thought I had everything all planned out. I hit up my boys and my fraternity brothers and people that are family members that are close to me. I invited her mom also, and to say, hey, on a Saturday, the weekend before Christmas, let's all go to Rockefeller Center, and I'll do the proposal in front of the tree. Please note this. I had never been to Rockefeller Center in my life for Christmas. So I didn't know how crazy it was. And I woke up the morning with the flu, and I had to go into work. So it was a lot of running around, And also, I had a customer that I sold the car to, and they actually worked at the ice skating rink at Rockefeller Center. So I got the plug. But I made it seem like I didn't know, like I was being introduced to them for the first time. So she had no idea what was going on. Nice. And, when my friends and her family were already blocking everybody off in front of we had like 25 people, like bouncers, blocking off in front of the tree. And at that same moment, that's when I presented everything. I had the videographers on both sides, from my side, her side. And her best friend handed me all the oak tags, like, the oak tags, the poster boards, while I was taking a picture of her, like, looking at the tree. Mind you, when she turned around, that's when everything happened. Boom.
Wow.
So,
I had no idea.
So, yeah,
you directed a whole movie, bro.
Yeah, I did.
I had no idea.
I mean, I'm not planning on doing this ever again.
No,
so if you're going to do it right, this is one time to do it. So
there you go.
That's it was a really special moment for us. And it was, I feel there was no holes in that game. It worked out great.
Definitely. And it's interesting, because when you find your partner, doesn't matter the time frame that you guys are together. First of all, you guys have met years before. You've seen her, locked eyes and things like that. When you reconnected with this person, it's like you've been knowing her that whole time, just like you said. Right. So she just solidified everything from that moment on. So being a year or two after the proposal, it just makes sense. When you know your person, you know your person. Now, I'm going to let you speak about, I'm going to let you speak about how you felt at that moment, but I'm not going to get into my proposal because it's nothing compared to yours. Because
it's not a conversation.
It's like, all right, I'm not even going to mention it. Right?
It's about the long game.
It's about the long game. But how do you feel at that moment? Were you surprised, and did your friends, tell you ahead of time?
No, they didn't tell me
Okay.
anything ahead of time. But I feel like I was just at the point in my life where I had learned to like surrender and let go. And that was something that I had worked on before even starting a relationship with him. Like I had worked on my anxiety, on my tolerance, on my boundaries, on all those things. So us building that relationship for a year, when he was like, oh yeah, let's go, we're going to go to Rockefeller Center. Yeah, no problem. Like I had learned to let go of control so much that I had no idea. And
What age were you at this point?
29.
29. Okay, I'm going to get back to why I'm asking you that in a moment.
Yeah, 29. Years of therapy, self-work, like all these things, like a lot of like, childhood trauma and things that I had to work on myself to get to that point. So I was already at the point where I was just like, oh, we're going this, no problem, let's go. Like, we're going to have fun, no problem, let's go. It even came to the point where he had said, my best friend had said that he knew the person at Rockefeller Center that was going to get us in. Right. And all of a sudden, half of my friends were stuck in traffic, couldn't get there at the time that the guy was going to get us in. So it was really only 4 of us ice skating. Wow. But I was like, no problem. I didn't think anything of it because it's the weekend before Christmas. It's Rockefeller Center. Of course they're stuck in traffic. Of course they can't find parking. No problem at all. And then we're like, oh, everybody's going to meet us by the tree because we missed the time for ice skating for them to get in. No problem. Let's go to the tree. Let's take some pictures. Let's go to the bar. And then that's when everything happened. I was just like, oh my God. Like my cousins were there. My mom was there. My mom's friends were there. And I was just like, this is amazing,
right.
And that's when I really knew that he was for sure the one, because he had just been doing things like that. That wasn't the only moment that like shocked me, but he was always showing up for me. Showing me that, yes, I was worth it, that I deserved to be put on a pedestal, that, that he really did care for me in all moments, not just that moment. So I was like, all right, this is it. Yeah. Wow. Forever.
The reason, that's amazing because it's like soulmates connect and you guys both knew it at the time. The reason why I asked you, and I'm sorry for asking you your age.
Oh, it's fine.
But the reason why I asked you at your age at that moment is because it's interesting to hear someone say, and you don't hear this a lot, where you did the work prior to that moment, because from that moment your life is going to change and propel into something else.